Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 8th, 2022, and I thought I'd give you a bit of an update on the roads and all. So we're down by the Beaver Ponds. That's the lower Beaver Pond down there. The upper Beaver Pond here, you'll be able to see in just a second. I'll walk around here a little. I put some gravel in this spot so I can have a boat launch. I'm starting to doubt that I'll actually get the boat in the water this year. Here we are. This is the upper Beaver Pond, and it's been really exciting working down here. A bit stressful, and there's an eagle right over in the distance, which you won't be able to see with the camera. So all of this area here, so last fall I ended up putting in a really significant spillway in here that the beaver patched up and all. And it's doing well. I have two small spillways here for just the standard streams that feed into the beaver pond up here, so that it has places where it can go through. And there are multiple places all along in here. All of this road here is all new this year, and we're just climbing in elevation. The pond wall over here is probably 2.5 feet higher than where we're standing right here. And stone wall is at the base of all of this area here because we're built on top of sediment. And I'll show you what the sediment's like in just a couple of minutes here. And with all the stone in here, as the dam walls, all the beaver dam walls all along in here, they're all porous. So they're controlled, so the water weeps through those, goes through the stone below the driveway here, the roadway, and works its way down here and works its way down to the next beaver pond down below. So the water's always cycling down here, and I did not want to disrupt that. And that's one of the main reasons for using all the stone that we used. And you can see we're climbing in elevation here. And we own about to where the gravel ends, right over there. So my initial goal was, geez, if it's on our property, I'd love to be able to make my way right around the edge of the pond. But it looks like our property ends just before the end of the pond, and so that we didn't trespass, what we decided to do was go ahead and put a new road in through here. I did get a couple of questions on the pond, one of which a gentleman had commented, have you thought about using a corduroy road? And what a corduroy road is, it's using usually long beams, often like 4 by 8 beams that are laid parallel to one another. And what you would do when you have really soft ground, you'd lay them parallel so that when your equipment drives over it, the weight is distributed through the width. That works really well through very soft soil. So if I were to use my tractor, even though I've got gravel and stone down here, because we had 4/10 of an inch of rain, I could get stuck down there because the surface area of each wheel, once it starts to break traction, it would sink down in there because this hasn't settled long enough. This hasn't been packed down. And when we get to the other side, you'll see a better idea of what I mean. But the laying logs or beams across, when it's several feet deep, like right over here, it's several feet deep, and here it's several feet deep. Boulders that were 3 and 4 foot in diameter, when I dropped them over the edge here, they just completely disappeared. So the corduroy road works extremely well if you've got marshy land, but the key is it has to be land not going across water. Just see some fish diving around in here. But as you can see, It's really nice. And our other road is down around as we get across the other side here. It'll be a little bit easier to see. The sun has come out, so it's really nice. Now you might look at these plants here and think, wow, they must have good soil there. The roots of these plants extend down about 2 feet into the water, and then it can be another foot or so above the water. So I've grabbed a hold of those and pulled them up because I can sink my bucket way down in there. So there's spots, and there's a beaver path right over there. I don't know if you can see it, a little breakaway, but that's one of the places that the beaver make their way through. And I've been building up this roadway. So you may be able to notice on this road here, it's a little bit more flat, although I was dragging things across over here. So this is older gravel here, about 48 hours old over there. And within the last 24 hours here, because I've been building up the gravel on top of the stone. And I don't know that they're detectable. The rookery, there's a couple of fairly large trees that are dead that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 8 nests for the great blue herons. Right over there is the beaver den that's in the water. We have them in the banks as well, and that's where the swans were in the past that we could see. And we finally made our way across over here. We're actually on the new property, but until I hit landfall. So the track loader doesn't get stuck here, or Elon, the excavator, doesn't get stuck here because of the track surface area is really good. But I'm bringing gravel over here, pretty bony gravel, to set on top of it. But if I were to try and take one of the tractors over here, which I can't do yet, I'd sink right down through this. So this is all sediment, because until we get to the next road over there, I'll go up here some. So we're going uphill in elevation, and I'll have to check and see what the elevation actually goes to. But this is an area I've been coming down here and starting to clean this area up, but I dare not try until it's really dry weather. We had 4/10 of an inch of rain, and this was before it rained, the 4/10 of an inch of rain. You could see how much I sunk in. A tractor would get buried right in here, because the soil is actually sediment that has gradually been working its way down the slope here, bit by bit. Carol was over. Carol is the person that we purchased the property from, and she still lives in the house last year. And she's pretty excited because she wants to get Sammy down here on trail. Sammy is her horse. And so right about in here is where I'm going to make a road working up to the back of the pasture, and then I'll make trails in the future. But this is the property line right here, which cuts across just before the edge of the pond. That's why I had to put the road in over there. And we're already up 5 feet, maybe 6 feet from where we came across the roadway there. So the ground will become more solid as we work our way up there. And we'll make swales. And some of these trees are going to have to come down so I can make the roadway up here. And I really want to, there's so many of the invasive Asian multiflora rose all over in here. And of course there is a grapevine, so that was one of the first things to do, is to come in here and pull out some of the dead trees, and this is all the multiflora rose, and it's every place in here. And so I'm going to strip as much of this out and make it so we can get a trail over that way. Well, actually a roadway over that way as well. But these roadways that I'm talking about now, they probably won't get much work done until much work accomplished until next year and the year after. But this is actually quite a beautiful place down in here. Very nice, very peaceful. And I do want to work my way. So all in here, I don't know if you could see it, that's all multiflora rose bushes. In here as well, that's what all of these are. And there's tons of trees down over in here. I didn't knock any of these trees down. These all blew over. Lots of dead trees. But I'd like to get it cleared so we can actually work our way around the margins, take out some of these dead trees. I'll leave some. If they look like they're straight and they're in good condition, I'll certainly leave them. But it gives you an idea of the challenges that we had getting this roadway in. It was not a piece of cake, and at least now I can drive across, turn around without having to back up. And our fall colors are starting to change right now, so it's going to get really pretty down here. So that's an update down here with the road. I'm delighted, and Thea's delighted, and Carol's very happy that we got an access road getting over to the land without going on neighbor's property at all. And then, you know, we've already got some of the property borderlines using marker tape marked around. Thea and Carol did that. And what I want to do is try and open up an area up in here where I can decide what the soil type, the subsoil type is. And so can I get another source of gravel here, and can I bury a lot of these dead trees over in here instead of dragging them way back over there? I'd really like to be able to do that. But it's going to take some time picking around in here and seeing with the soil and subsoil where the undulations are in the topography of the land. I'm not that familiar with it. I've walked it a few times, but because of the extensive invasiveness of these thorny rose bushes, and we do have a couple of thorny buckthorn trees in here that I want to take out. And we've got lots of dead ash trees. We got a fair amount of the grapevines over here, quite a few, but nothing like we have over in the other property. So the first thing is doing a little bit of exploring, make myself a base station down here at the base so I can see which ways are the best ways to put in the road so I can get other equipment over here. And the other thing I have to do is put more layers on top of this road and the access road coming up and around where we go across here. Is when winter comes, the porosity of the beaver dam walls will be somewhat exceeded. The drainage capacity will be somewhat exceeded, and the spillways will be enacted to do a great deal. And since I don't know how well the water will transfer from this side over here, because all of the upper water resources come from all of these areas in here. There's streams and all, and it comes down the slopes, works its way down into this pond. And even during the drought, there's always water going through the the pores of the Beaver Dam. And by putting this road in, I intentionally designed it in a way that where it's porous enough that it should be more porous than the Beaver Dam walls themselves. So we'll see. If it starts to breach in places, I'll put in some wider spillways. So that'll be important because the beavers will be working on it, no doubt. It's one of the things I love down here is the turtles coming out and sunning themselves on the logs. So having some logs in the water and the rocks along the borders and all, the snakes and the turtles are up here all the time. The belted kingfishers, there's groups of them here. There's still herons here, but they're not in nests at this point. I do see the beaver. I see quite a few snappers as well, snapping turtles. What else is it? Woodcocks, I see those down further down in that direction down there. So without facing the camera into the sun, I think that's about it. I'll end the video here. You have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'm sorry I'm way behind on responding to comments and questions. It's just been absolutely crazy lately, and things will still be pretty crazy because I feel the pressure of getting ready for winter here. Lots of things that have got to be done, workshop stuff that's got to be done, things in the house that have got to be done, and so on, just like you folks know. It's just getting crunch time. Well, thanks so much for watching. Have a super fantastic and safe day. Bye-bye now.